You really need to know to improve your micro.
I will show you 3 things you might not know about radars.
Overrun! 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 Yes!
Oh no. No, I didn't know this.
Yeah, the US Navy is moving steadily
Have US Navy some engagement? This is a disaster for Hungary. Hungary was the one that suffered the most.
Yeah,
I have a perfect overview of everything he has.
Welcome to the studio. Thank you. It's been
It's
intense.
up in that mode under the temperature.
yeah. Maybe we before we
I'm
say
too
what the
excited.
outcome was of the plan. Maybe we should
2.2 million casualties and the meat war.
It has been a while, so
Yeah, 12 hours or so, not counting.
Hello and welcome. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. This is a Hygge Gaming broadcast where we will have the team presentations for our grand game the 18th of February. And joining us in the studio we have a new face.
Hi, I'm Olaf Stern, and I'll be hopping into the studio for this and the next Grand Game.
And we are looking forward to this. And besides from Olaf, you have me, Peter, and also Victor, wearing his Arms Against Tyranny medal, as usual.
Yeah, indeed. I was a bit worried about making a hole in my sweater, but I realized that on most shirts I need to wear this because I will probably be with you for some games. And it's very fun to be able to cast for you and entertain you all with our grand games. We have really been establishing the studio now, and we feel like we're getting a lot of casting experience, so to speak.
So, the name of our new grand game is Illuminate the Arrival, and since we had our last game, we have some new veterancy stars here. Let's see if I can... there we go, and now we're in the way. There we are. So in our community, we hand out a veterancy star for every 5 games that you played. And we count both the grand games, our more established games, and also the blitz games. Like we had one yesterday, a blitz game where me and Victor got to play for once after being in the studio for a long time. So that was good fun. But yeah, congratulations to Alexander, Bopus, Francis, Ivan, Jacob, Jonte, and Sticky to your new stars. And we can see here that Jonte is he's become an 8-star general. We don't have too many of those, but yeah, congrats. Moving on, we have the teams.
Indeed,
So,
we do.
Beginning with maybe the most important of all, us in the studio. Like we said, oh shit, yeah, this is really wrong picture. Oh well, so
Well, that ruins the excitement. But with the studio, we have. Well, it's Petey and me, you know us, and as we said, we have Olaf, our new addition. So welcome to the studio team.
yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah, this is a technical fuck up which spoils the the teams, at least some of the teams. But we'll get into the presentation anyways. You would have seen them eventually anyways. So starting with Germany, you want to take the reins, Victor?
Yeah, sure. We have Mako and we have Jonathan A. And the thing is that Mako is, as you can see, no stars, but he is an experienced player. Impressive showing in the Blitz game yesterday.
Definitely, and it's his first game playing Germany with us, I think. Arvidsson, Jonathan, he has 2 veterancy stars, but he's never played Germany either. He's played the Soviets and the US before, though.
Yeah, an unexperienced Germany, but also a wildcard Germany. We'll see how they do. And challenging them as one of the major countries from the Allies, we have Badger, a well-known name on the UK, indeed.
Definitely. Our General Secretary, our fearless leader, he's played the UK a whopping 9 times before, so this is one of his comfort countries. He loves the Navy game, so we'll probably see a lot of that.
Yeah, he likes to play UK alone as well, so he's very comfortable with that, I think.
Yeah,
I'm kind of wondering if seeing the UK get capitulated like last Grand Game is a reason why he like went back to the UK this early.
maybe. Yeah, he has been sea-lined a couple of times before, but I think he will try to prevent this. Yeah, let's move on, and we'll discuss more in depth later.
Indeed, and the other major Axis country, we have Algot on Italy, 8-star general, very veteran, one of the founders of the community, also the house where we usually put up our studio, and yeah, a veteran Italy player, I would say.
Definitely. Yeah, he's one of the founding members of the community. He's played Italy 3 times before. And yeah, he will be facing the Badgers, the UK, which is a challenge, I would say.
Yeah, a matchup of 2 giants in our community, indeed, the UK and Italy here. And the biggest giant, at least in a World War II context, is probably the Soviet Union, today played by Jacob, Ivan, and Per. I would say that this is a strong Soviet.
Definitely. Jacob is the newest member of the Central Committee, but he's not new in any sense. He's a very overall strong player, known for his innovative builds and strategies. Ivan is a 3-star general, getting better with every game. He's played the Soviet only once before, but I think he will be having like a narrow micro focus, because Jacob probably has a grand plan for everything that they are to build and do.
Yes, I've relied on Jacob's build with Soviet myself. He's a great prepper, so this should be good.
Definitely. Per, the third player, he is a long-time player of the community. He is very popular to have as a co-op player because he's dependable and he gets the job done.
Yeah, he's also a very experienced co-op player with his 6 stars. And on the Pacific, our first contender is Hygge and Sean on Japan, the major Pacific nation of the Axis. Quite a few stars for a major of this size and complexity. What do you think about this lineup, Peter?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Hygge has 3 veterancy stars going on 4. Maybe he just got 4. I missed it. So in that case, he's played Japan twice before, though. He had a good game as Italy yesterday in the Blitz game. His co-op, Sean, is one of the newer players in our community, but he's been playing with other communities in the past, so he's quite experienced. He's mostly played the UK before, and yesterday in the Blitz he managed to keep the Asia Axis out as Raj. So yeah, I think they could make a good showing of it.
Yeah. Japan is also Navy heavy, so the UK experience might come in handy. And another country where Navy experience might come in handy is the USA, that will be challenging the Japanese players on the high seas. And USA is played by Pontus and Sticky. Interestingly, main controlled by the 2-star general and Sticky in the second share, if I am to interpret the order correct. Interesting choice.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing that sticks out there, with Pontus being the less experienced player, having the main controller role. But he's a solid player, and he's made a good showing in most games where he played. I think the only time he played a major before was a Blitz, where he played the Soviets. So these are big shoes to fill, and big Lend-Lease orders to fill as well.
And Sticky is used to playing and like supporting a newer player on a major, so I think he'll do a great job there. Sticky is very solid, so yeah, I think the US will do well.
Yeah, and Sticky's played the US with us 4 times before, so he's no stranger to the America.
Yeah, it will be an interesting showdown in the Pacific, and on the mainland of the Pacific, the inland of China and those areas, we have a Manchu from the Axis that will be played by Rosen, 5-star general. A very important partner for the Japanese in the China War and the later attacks on Raj and other places.
Yeah, Rosen is one of our more experienced players. He's been with us for a few years now. Also plays with other communities. He's played Manchu with us once before, but Japan a couple of times. And just looking at the lineup and everything, I think we might see a big Manchu this game. I think they might want to give Rosen a bigger responsibility because he's a solid player.
Yes, and one country that might face the Manchurians at some point is the British Raj, this time played by Matthias, 5-star general. Have we seen anything interesting going on in the Raj the last games?
I think the last few games the Raj has been able to defend themselves. It's been a while since we saw Raj surrendering, even though they've been invaded a few times. Matthias is he's a 5-star veteran player, so he's been with us for quite some time, and his last 4 games have been with major nations, so he's taking up more and more responsibility, and yeah, I think he will take this seriously.
Yes, moving on.
Yeah, let's see if the what happens when I press the button.
Yeah, we'll see. I have
yes,
some delay
there we go.
here, but yes, moving on then to the Spanish. We have Andreas Eriksson on the Spanish, and he is back on a country that he has played before. 5-star general, usually quite a prepper, quite a tactical player. Getting revenge for I remember he had quite a bad civil war a couple of games ago, but I think he has a lot of experience in how to win it now, and a strong Spain can really be powerful late game.
Yeah, he's played Spain 4 times before, so it's a real comfort choice for him. I don't think he's played Spain since we changed the rules, allowing for a volunteer-only Spain. So that's a different way of playing. It's a lot less stressful, of course, because you can't get invaded. You just send your volunteers, most often tanks then, and you just hang out. So maybe that's something he will do.
And that has kind of become the meta now. We'll get into that more later, but in the latest games, the volunteer Spain has been quite a good choice for the Axis because you secure that part of the front. Well, moving on then to France. We have Gustav, 1-star general. France is one of those countries, it's a bit of a sleeper. You know that if you know your history, they will not fare too well in the early 1940s, but they can punch quite above their weight later in the game once they come back and get all the exile bonuses and stuff.
Yeah, Gustav only has 1 veterancy star so far, but he made a good showing as Holland in our last Bergagårdhov live LAN game. And that was the last time he played with us, so he might be a bit rusty. We'll see. France has a big potential, like you say, Victor.
Yes, and one country that might face France in some capacity, but mostly will be facing East, though, I imagine, is Hungary, where we have our 8-star General Jonte, another veteran of our community, perhaps being able to help out a lot on the Eastern Front there, where we have quite few stars on the German players, but a dangerous Soviet.
Yeah, and Jonte is no stranger to the Balkans. He's played Romania many times, but I don't think he has ever played Hungary, so this will be a new thing for him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. He also describes himself as a micro player, so running around with tanks should be in his A game.
Yeah, this is probably a comfort choice for him, like just focusing on a few tank units and wreaking havoc. Yeah.
And they can really make a difference to Hungary with their tanks. And another country that can really make a difference with their tanks is Canada. And Canada will be played by another 8-star general, Falk. And experienced player, dangerous country.
Definitely. He's one of our strongest players. He's played Canada twice before, but the last time was 3 years ago. So, yeah, he hasn't played it for a long time, but I don't think building up Canada will be a problem for Martin. He will most probably build tanks, and Martin's tanks is a common nightmare in our community. Many people wake up in the middle of the night screaming about Martin's tanks. Yeah.
Yeah, and before we move on to the minors, I would like to do a shout out to Paradox Entertainment, both for the amazing game and expansions, and also to do a little advertising for us being a frontline event. Frontlines is a new thing that Paradox does, where they have this official community events, and we are a Chevron level event this game, and thank you very much for that.
Yes, thank you to Paradox. Also, a big thank you to our Patreons. We do have some Patreons who each month gives us a small donation so we can keep giving you this quality content.
Thank you indeed. Moving on then, we have the Axis minors first. On Finland, we have Skoginge, 4 stars. Romania, Christer. Siam, Sjökrona, 3 stars. Francis, 6 stars. Bulgaria, Yugoslavia is played by Andrei, and August is playing Vichy, France. What do we have to say about these players?
Yep, starting from the top, Skoginge, he's played Finland only once before, but he's played the Soviet 4 times, so he knows his way around the Eastern Front.
Yeah, indeed. Like it's interesting with Finland. I am fresh from the trenches of Leningrad yesterday, where we played Blitz game, and I played Finland. And I remember both that Blitz game. It might be to my prowess as a general, but we have seen Finland performing very well in the Winter War since the latest focus tree has come online. And it will be interesting to see that applied in a third game, because we have seen some losses of Leningrad and some strong showings from Finland, because they are quite buffed in Arms Against Tyranny.
Yeah. Moving down, we have Christer playing Romania, and Christer is a bit of a newer player. He only has 1 veterancy star. He's never played Romania with us before, but he has played Raj in another grand game, which might be a bit similar. He's also played second share of the Soviets. Romania has a lot of potential, like it's one of the bigger Axis miners, but it also has a fair bit of responsibility.
Indeed.
And on Siam, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. On Siam, Sjökrona, I do know he's played. He's been playing for a long time. He's not always here, but he's played a lot of games, and they're almost always these miners that also pack like a punch. So I'll be really interested to see what he can do with Siam.
Yeah, we had a really annoying Siam yesterday. I was playing Australia, and yeah, the Siamese player, he had cavalry taking islands like all across the globe. It was really, really annoying. But yeah, I think as long as Sjökrona remembers to garrison Bangkok, he should be fine with the support of Rosen and Hygge and so on in the east. Let's see. Oh, Andrei. Andrei, he's played with us only once before, exactly a year ago, almost. And then he played Poland. I can't remember how he did, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yugoslavia has potential to be quite a strong minor nation in the Axis, so we'll see what he does with it.
Yeah, it's one of those few Axis miners in the Balkans that can go like infantry, and they can do a lot of different things. When you have Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania, you will get some strong punching tanks, and you know quite what to expect from them. But Yugoslavia can be a wild card, indeed.
Yeah, definitely.
Much like Albania was like a couple of games ago. Dropping Moscow. You
Exactly.
never know what's gonna happen.
Speaking of Albania, though, it's vacant. So if one of our community members still wants to join, we do have a spot or two left. Moving on to the allied miners, then.
Yes, indeed. I just remembered we forgot about Francis.
Oh right, shit. Sorry, Francis. Sorry. Francis is a 6-star general. He's played a lot of major nations recently. He had a really memorable performance in the last Bergordhof, playing Hungary with the Try Again army, where his army got completely wiped, but then he built a new one who performed excellently and threw out the Allied D-Day. I think he has the potential to be one of the scariest Bulgarias we've seen in a while.
Yeah, indeed. I think he might actually do a very strong showing here in backing up the Axis Eastern Front, like Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania, Finland. It might stack up quite a lot against the Soviets. Also, we got from the chat here that August or Andrei is a close friend of Christo in Romania, so we might get some synergy there.
Oh, we didn't mention August. He's a new player to the community, and it's his first game. So very welcome to you, August. Nice to have you with us, playing with us. And as a first-time player, I think Vichy is a good choice. You're nestled safely into the bosom of Nazi Germany, and you can do your thing.
Yeah, like Vichy France is also one of those like wildcard countries. They might not look like much on paper, but they can pack quite a punch if you surprise your enemies with them. And we just get information from the chat here that it's Andrei that is a close friend of Romania, so we might get some Yugoslav-Romanian coordination there on the Eastern Front.
There you
now
go.
moving on to the Allied miners.
Yes.
We have Clinton on Australia.
Yeah.
And we have Kalle on South Africa, Ville on Brazil, Hasleberg on Mongolia, Remmefors, Mexico, Eklund, Ireland, Tobias on New Zealand, Joachim Löfstedt on Holland, and Sundström on Poland, and a vacant Greece. What do you say about this?
Yeah, it's a solid roster, I think. Starting with Clintbet on Australia. He's a 5-star veteran. He's played Australia only once before. His last few games have been more in the European theater, but he's no stranger to Asia either, so I think he will do a good job on Australia. Kalle on South Africa. Kalle is also a veteran player, 7 stars. He also plays a lot of games, both Hearts of Iron and other games, together with Folk, who plays Canada. So I think we might see some tandem tank action between Canada and South Africa in this game.
Yeah, that's potentially very scary as well when it is just Falk and Kalle with those strong tanks. It's really hit or miss nations, especially South Africa. If you get your divisions and circles and you die, that's basically the game for you, but you can punch a lot with them.
Yeah, but
you're speaking from experience here, Ola.
I very much am. I very much regret going into India with the South African tanks. But yeah, like Canada and South Africa, if you choose to defend El Alamein with them, after that part of the war is done, you have so much freedom of where you want to place those tanks. So they could hit in very many different places, and that'll be interesting to see.
Definitely. And with Kalle on South Africa, Falk on Canada, Jonte on Hungary, and Francis on Bulgaria, we have a really strong tank miners in this game. So it'll be interesting to see a lot of armored plays, given that they will go for armor, of course, but I think they will. Yeah, moving down, we have Ville on Brazil. He's a 2-star general. He came back to the community in 2023 after a long hiatus. He's never played Brazil before, but he made a good showing in the last few games, so I think he could do a good job here as well. Hasleberg on Mongolia. he has 2 veterancy stars, but he hasn't played in the last 2 games. He's never played Mongolia before, but he has a lot of experience playing as the Soviet, so he should feel at home on the Eastern Front. And I'm guessing Jacob on the Soviets has a plan that includes Mongolia as well. So I think
Yeah, probably.
I'm just guessing, but I think Hasselberg will be able to focus more or less only on his micro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We have
shaping up to
seen-
be a pretty strong Soviet theater.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, indeed. We have seen some dangerous Mongolias. At least like a couple of games ago, we had some where with very, very hard to counter, like really fast rocket artillery wreaking havoc on the Eastern Front. So
Yeah, they have potential. On Mexico, we have Remefors, solid 3-star general. He's played Mexico twice before, which is a lot for Mexico. And I think this experience could be crucial because they do have quite a complicated focus tree and so on. So it's nice to have played them before. They're also quite late bloomers, much like the US and Brazil. So yeah, I think it's a good thing that he has some experience playing them before, and maybe that will allow him to get the most out of it.
yeah, and you can really get a lot out of this, like Brazil, Mexico, because if the Soviets are tied down and you just need manpower, these are some of the manpower powerhouses of the Allies. If you like need to just fill out troops somewhere, you can get a lot of infantry from them, provided you can cross the Atlantic safely.
Yep. Moving on Ireland, Eklund. He's been in the community for more than a year now, but he's only played 4 games with us so far. Ireland, though, is one of the weakest nations in the game, so it's not too hard to exceed the expectations.
He has played Ireland before, and if I remember correctly, he did get capped that game and was not happy about it. So we'll see if he gets his revenge this time.
Yeah, it's always a trade-off. How much do you want to live in the home islands, and how much do you want to get out and get action with? Right, on New Zealand we have Tobbe Hammarström. He is, he's been in the community since the beginning, but during 2023 he hasn't played much at all due to him becoming a father. So he's known for like building Mimi builds with a bunch of strat bombers coming from small countries that you don't expect. But I think he might be disappointed to learn about the fatherless trait, which some countries have, which in this mod is it's a mechanic that it's made to disable that kind of strategy. So if you, as New Zealand, just sit and build fighters, for example, you can't really do that in this mod. So he will have to do something else, something more active.
Interesting.
Yeah, and let's see, who do we have left? Holland. Yeah, Löfstedt has 4 veterancy stars, but a bit like Tobias Hammarström, he's a bit out of practice. He only played 2 games with us during 2023. I think Holland is a good choice to get back into it, though, and I think he will fit in nicely with the rest of the Asia Allies crew there.
Yeah, I think so as well, and also like Holland is one of those interesting allied nations that you get exiled, but you do not get exiled like Poland or France, where you are lacking land and have a government in exile. You rather escape to the Dutch East Indies and form up a country there, garrisoning and island hopping and playing there, and an interesting.
And the war will come to you in the Pacific, so like you're going to get another shot at it.
Yeah, it's probably one of the countries most likely to be capitulated twice. Holland is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Löfstedt, I think he will do a good job. And then last but not least, on Poland we have Sundström. He has just 1 veterancy star, and he's played with us for about 1.5 years. He may be a bit out of practice, but Poland is a nice country to get back into it because as soon as you capitulate, you have your off-map factories and you can go and rock and roll anywhere you want in the world, basically.
Yes, also not his first time playing Poland, so he has some experience there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these are our teams. Do we have any comments in the chat? Maybe. What do you guys think? Are you excited to play these countries? Did you get your first pick? What do you think about the matchup? Does it look even Steven, or can you see it skewing in one way or another?
We have Christian sending pizzas, representing his country of Italy, and some British flags from Badger as well.
That's nice.
Gonna be interesting, Barb. Yeah, definitely. That is one of the things that I am really looking forward to in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob is. We know that he's a solid player and that he will have a comprehensive plan for the Eastern Front. Mako facing him on Germany is he's also experienced, but not with us. So he's more of a wild card, you could say. Like just speaking to him, you can tell that he knows the game, he knows the mod, he knows what to do. But how will he match up against Jacob there? That will be interesting to see.
Yeah, indeed, and I think I played with him in the Blitz game yesterday, and he's a very informative and communicative player. Like, oh, build this and go there, and you do this, and I think that's a very good trait to have as a German main controller.
Yeah,
and I think he's gonna need that because like he has a lot of the experience in the allies is in the miners around him. And I think Soviet is the major with the most experience in this game, if I'm looking at this correctly. So I feel we're gonna have a strong showing from the Soviet players. And Jacob's not only a great prepper, like he did the Italy invasion of England like last Grand Game, so he's willing to just take a chance, and when he sees an opportunity, go for it. So yeah. The Eastern Front is, I think, gonna be very interesting this game.
Yeah.
We also saw here in the chat that Mako was actually the player of the game as the Soviets, the last Grand Game, and that was pretty much the deciding factor for the Allies there. So he will be on the other side of the front line, but he has really shown his mettle here.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what the Soviet meta is going to be this game. Just during my time with the Hygge, the meta has evolved several times, and if I remember correctly, last time they did go for tanks. Jacob last time he played, he went for an artillery, heavy artillery with mountaineers, and just had like very strong infantry with special forces and held the line. Which, could go either way, and I'm super excited to see which one he's gonna go for.
Definitely, and like we said, strong tank miners in the Balkans as well. That might be a challenge, but yeah, we'll see what Jacob pulls out of his sleeve there. Another fun matchup is the UK versus Italy there, like we talked a bit briefly about before. Both of these players have played both of these nations several times. I think they've also had this heads-up matchup a few times as well. Badger being the more preppy of the two, and Algot being more of an intuitive player.
Yeah, that will be an interesting matchup as well. Like, we have seen some interesting Navy shenanigans the later games. Perhaps the prime example being where Jacob broke out of the Mediterranean by island hopping Gibraltar and the home islands of the UK. So we have seen some Seelöwe going on the latest games, and it has become a more common occurrence. I remember like 4 or 5 games ago, like Seelöwe was more of a meme, but now we have actually seen it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to harp on about Jacob, but he does love his navies. We've never seen a Navy Soviet, though. Could this be the first time?
Oh, if we see that, oh, that would be so amazing.
Yeah, we might actually see. Like, I mean, naval invasions of Finland has been
Yeah.
known to happen, and
The
we
new
see.
way to win the winter war.
We've seen Knister in chat here as well saying 3 out of 3 undefeated Italy will be hard for Badger.
That's nice.
Yeah.
We see the banter starting already. Excellent. Yeah, as we were talking about before, I'm really looking forward to the Pacific matchup between Japan and the US. Pontus and Hygge facing off against each other, each with a British co-op. I'm not sure if Hygge or Sean is the more experienced player, since Sean is from outside the community originally, but yeah, it seems like a similar setup there on both sides. It'll be really interesting to see how it pans out.
Yeah, we have seen some games, like the later games have not really been like decided in the Pacific. We have the Pacific. We are playing with a modified version of their Finest Bro, and that's the mod we're going with. And they have like a debuff. So if you lose in the Pacific, if the Axis or the Allies capture key islands, you get debuffs in Europe. But we have not really seen any games being like decided on engagements in the Pacific. But see if it's more impactful this time.
I think the last time a game was really decided in the Pacific was Biagold 2022, right? When Japan just went crazy and took basically everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think so. Yeah. We'll see. Even if we've had some strong Japans, I mean, the game is often decided on the Eastern Front, no matter what happens in Asia, and it almost doesn't matter how well they play. I mean, you can take India and South Africa and so on, but if the Soviets are having a good day, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll see if they manage to increase the Pacific impact here.
Yeah. So, any questions in the chat? I'm looking at the Twitch chat right now to see if we have anything else you want us to cover. Here are the teams. I think it's a good matchup. It's a bit less preppy on the Axis side, though. It will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, and that's interesting because like the flow of the game is controlled a lot by the Axis in the beginning, just as it is historically. You are the ones that do the Anschluss, that leave the naval treaties, and you really control whether or not you want the world tension to increase or not. And that will be interesting to see. I'm also interested what you think about the minor wars. Because we have the Finnish Winter War, we have the Spanish Civil War, and we have the Sino-Japanese War that is going to happen.
Yeah. I would have to say I believe in a Soviet victory in the Winter War. Skogenge is a strong player, but he's facing a lot of players. Notwithstanding what you said before, Victor, that Finland is stronger now, but yeah, it always looks so scary with tiny Finland surrounded by the huge Soviets there. So I would have to lean towards the Soviet victory. The Spanish Civil War, I think Andreas, as Spain, he will probably practice the Civil War a lot, and the Axis will have an advantage in the number of volunteers. So should be an Axis victory. I'm not sure how easy or hard it will be, but should be an Axis victory, I think. We have a question in the chat. They are asking us to call the game, so we can look stupid later on when we are wrong. So yeah, why don't you start, Victor? You're good at calling games prematurely.
Yeah, indeed. I remember it was Bergård Hov, right? I called it 3 times. It was always wrong. I will have to say.
But not this time.
I think that I'm gonna go with the wild card and go Axis. I'm thinking, like, looking at it on paper, I do think that the allies might be favored, but it will be very interesting to see, like, these very strong tank miners, as well with Mako as new German main controller and Algot with the fleet. What do you think, Olaf?
I have to agree with that. It's a lot of wild cards when you have less experienced majors, more experienced minors. It opens up so many possibilities for weird things to happen. I do think the allies are gonna win. The Axis have strong miners, but never forget that Jonte lost all his tanks as Mongolia in like the first year. Last time he played Mongolia, crazy shit can happen. So yeah, I'm going with the allies. I think Soviet's gonna do well, and I think that's going to be the deciding factor.
Yeah, I think I am also leaning towards the allies. I think a lot will come down to the Axis leadership, like how well is Mako and also Algot and Jonte and so on, Rosen maybe. How good are they at coaching the newer players and getting them to follow the same strategy as the others? I think that might be a crucial fact, because I know the allies and the Comintern, they will have. I mean, any miner who asks for it will get an Excel sheet with a build order and everything. So I think yeah, that's what makes me lean towards the allies this game. But I think it looks really even. I think we'll have a great game ahead of us.
Yeah, indeed, very very interesting setup here, and also welcome to the community, all of our newer players. It's so nice to see. Like we have casted. Like 3 or 4 games now, and every time there is new people with no stars that want to get engaged and play, and that's very nice. We have a question in the chat as well, like what are our predictions on Europe, Asia? And the thing is, I guess Asia, we talked a bit about the Pacific, but what do you think will happen on the land, like around Roche and Singapore and?
I really don't know. I think it's a really exciting and even matchup. I mean, the Asia axis. You have Rosen there. Maybe we'll see a big Manchu, and that could be a scary prospect. But on the other hand, the Asia allies are they are many and they are experienced, and I think they are good at working together as well. So yeah, it's really I think.
Yeah,
Could go either way.
We've seen Japan get slowed down in the first war like quite a bit. So there's always that possibility with an inexperienced Japan that you'll get stuck fighting the computer for a while, and that can really slow you down. So I'm not at all sure what's going to happen there, but it'll be something to look out for.
Yeah, that's one of those preparation games as well. Like, since you are fighting the AI in China, basically, if you prepare a lot, if you dry run it a lot, you will probably be fine. But if you don't, I mean, also the AI can do surprising things, as we learn. So indeed, interesting to see. And moving over to Europe, do you think we'll have any sea levels or new stuff like island hopping to Gibraltar, or will it be like the regular?
I think Algot will try. Like, I think he has to try. He can't not try. But I have no idea if he'll succeed.
Yeah,
I think we're starting to see a meta where UK is more prepared for a sea level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always though, like if you have troops there, they're not much use for anything else, unless it's like preparing for the D-Day. So you really want them engaged in the different fronts all across the world. But yeah, and you can't do that if you keep them at home being scared of the sea lion. So yeah, it's always a trade-off.
Yeah, as long as Britannia rules the waves, you don't really have to be worried. But stranger things have happened.
Yeah, that's what they say. But then I've seen a lot of sea lions where the British fleet is still intact, but somehow the Axis managed to get over there, anyways. But we'll see.
One thing we haven't really talked about is North Africa and the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
we have strong allied tank miners and strong allied Axis miners, but the strong Axis tank miners will not be in North Africa. What do you think that South Africa and Canada will be able to make the difference, or do the allies or the Axis have a chance there?
I feel like it might be possible that the Axis don't really invest in North Africa. We've seen that a couple of times before, where they don't really spend the resources trying to do that, and South Africa and Canada just kind of end up, putting their tanks in El Alamein for a long while and not really contributing to the other theaters. So I feel like with this setup of players, that might be like actually a good choice by the Axis to not go heavy into North Africa.
Yeah, because Algot is a good player, but just looking at the roster with the Badger and then Folk and Kalle with their tanks, I mean, that's like putting your head through a brick wall almost.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the last games we have seen more intense Mediterranean gameplay, like early invasions of Italy and fleet shenanigans around Cyprus and daring Axis naval invasions into the Middle East. And we'll see if we are moving away from that this game, or if we will see more of that.
Yeah, Algot is definitely a player who would not hesitate to go for example, South Africa or maybe Brazil or something. I mean, if he gets the feeling, he will go for it, I think.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. Do we have any more questions in the chat, or are we starting to round this one up?
I think we'll round this up then. So thank you for joining us. I think most of our viewers right now are the players who will be playing, but to all the rest of you, I hopefully will join us on February the 18th, Sunday at 10 a.m. Central European time, and the action will start then. And we will be streaming from the studio. We'll all three of us be sitting in the same place, and not like now. In our own places. We'll have the green screen up, the stream cat ready to stream, and we'll probably drink a few beers as well. And I hope you will join us.
Yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch our guides, and welcome Olof as well.
Yeah,
thank you.
Welcome Olof to the studio. I think we'll have a grand old time.
Yes, this is gonna be great.
Okay, so thank you and good.